Okay, well, there's Rocky up there having a sleep on his pillow. He's just fast asleep. He's in a chicken coma because we had a chicken feast tonight. So there he is, fast asleep in a chicken coma. And here I am. I'm not in a chicken coma, but I did have some chicken. And I was just thinking of a funny story that an old friend of mine told me one time. This old friend of mine, he died. He passed away a couple years ago at the age of 89. He was born in 1932. He was a distant cousin of mine, this guy, and a good friend of mine, too. Anyway, he told me this story. His father was actually my grandmother, on my dad's side of the family, my dad's mother's father. His father's brother his father was brothers with my dad's mother's father. My dad's mother, whose name was Mary, my grandma on my mother's side of the family, Mary, she was the daughter of Phonsie Kerr, Alphonsus Kerr, who they called Phonsie Kerr. And my friend Tom Kerr, his father was Frank Kerr, and Frank and Phonsie were brothers. That's the connection. And Tom's mother's name was Sarah Kerr. Now, Sarah was a pretty blunt kind of person. I remember I went to her funeral back in the 1980s. She's been gone a very long time now, but I knew her. I knew her very well. And she was very blunt. She swore like a mule driver. She cursed and swear and stuff, and she was very blunt anyway. But when Tom was a little boy growing up on the farm in Stanleyville, Ontario, this is when this story occurred. And basically what happened was they had mice in the house. And the mice were running all through the walls and stuff, and all around the ceilings over their heads and everything. And Tom's mother, Sarah, had been after his father, Frank, to do something to get rid of the mice. I don't know if she was thinking of traps or poison or what, but she wanted the mice gone out of the house because they were a nuisance, and it's not real healthy to have mice in your house, So she wanted Frank to do something about it. Well, one evening after supper, Frank is sitting there in the parlor reading the newspaper, and Sarah, she yells at Frank. You can hear the mice running back and forth over their heads, And Sarah, she yells at Frank. She says, "Frank, thought you were going to do something about those mice." She said, "The house is overrun with them. I can hear them," she said, "in the ceilings and the walls. They're everywhere." She said, we're overrun with the damn things." She said, "I thought you were going to do something about that. Like, when are you going to do something about these mice?" And Frank looked up from his newspaper, just very nonchalantly, and he says, "Well, no," he said, "overrun." He said, "No." He said, "Look," he said, "there's only one mouse. It's just one mouse up there," he said, "running around. We're not overrun with them. One mouse is hardly an infestation." And he went back to reading his paper. And Sarah, she says, One mouse my ass," she says. We're overrun with them. How can you say it's one mouse? Just listen to that. How can you say, listen to that racket up there? How can you say it's just one mouse?" And Frank very calmly looked up from his paper again, kind of looked over his paper at her, and he says, "No," he said, "there really is only just one mouse. We only have one mouse in this house," he said. "The problem is he's wearing horseshoes. That's just one mouse wearing horseshoes. That's all it is." He went back to reading his paper. So that's what he told her. It was just one mouse, but it was wearing horseshoes anyway. I guess the mouse wearing horseshoes would make an awful racket. So there you go anyway. They needed somebody like Rocky around. Rocky would have taken care of that. Rocky would have hunted those mice into extinction, he would have. He would have, horseshoes and all. He wouldn't have cared. You're wearing horseshoes, just make you even easier to catch because they'll slow you down. That's what he would say. Anyway, that's the story there of the horseshoe-wearing mice in the old farmhouse at Stanleyville during the Depression, during the Great Depression of the 1930s anyway. Yeah, that's it. That's it for now anyway. Just thought I'd share that with you. Bye for now.